Welcome to a space of silence and profound meaning. In the quiet rhythm of our shared inquiry, we distance ourselves from the noise of the external world to look deeper into the foundations of human thought. As part of our ongoing series, Philosophical Origins, Reading the New Testament, we now enter a pivotal phase of our journey as we examine the Gospel of Matthew, chapters 16 through 21. It is essential to clarify our perspective. We are not here to offer a sermon or a traditional religious discourse. Instead, we approach this canonical work as a significant cultural phenomenon, a complex historical document, and a fertile source of philosophical reflection. Our goal is to analyze the text through a secular lens, exploring the enduring questions it raises about ethics, social structures, and the inherent contradictions of the human condition. We will observe how these ancient narratives intersect with universal themes of power, sacrifice, and the search for truth. In this installment, we specifically explore the concept of the self in transition, investigating the philosophical weight of personal mission and the inevitability of confrontation with established authority. We will examine the psychological and ethical implications of making a choice that leads toward an irrevocable end. Prepare yourself for a meditative reading and a rigorous, layer-by-layer analysis. Let us begin our exploration.
Chapter 16. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, When it is evening, ye say, It will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, It will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites! Ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them, and departed. And when his disciples were come to the other side, they had forgotten to take bread. Then Jesus said unto them, Take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, It is because we have taken no bread. Which when Jesus perceived, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves, because ye have brought no bread? Do ye not yet understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000, and how many baskets ye took up? Neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000, and how many baskets ye took up? How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees? Then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. When Jesus came into the coasts of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? And they said, Some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias, and others Jeremias, or one of the prophets. He saith unto them, But whom say ye that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Then charged he his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Jesus the Christ. From that time forth began Jesus to show unto his disciples how that he must go unto Jerusalem, and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and be raised again the 3rd day. Then Peter took him, and began to rebuke him, saying, Be it far from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee. But he turned and said unto Peter, Get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me, For thou savorest not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. Then said Jesus unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his cross, and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited, if he shall gain the whole world, and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom.
Philosophical commentary, Matthew chapter 16. Historical and literary context. In chapter 16, the narrative reaches a critical threshold near Caesarea Philippi. Structurally, the text shifts from public debates to an intimate, Socratic-style inquiry between a teacher and his inner circle. This passage functions as a recognition scene, a common literary device where the true identity or purpose of a protagonist is finally articulated. Within its historical context, this dialogue occurs far from the religious center of Jerusalem, emphasizing a moment of intellectual and spiritual transition away from established institutions toward a new personal foundation. The central philosophical inquiry. The core problem of this chapter is the nature of subjective truth and the cost of conviction. When Peter articulates his recognition, it is framed not as a logical deduction, but as an intuitive breakthrough. However, this is immediately followed by a radical philosophical reflection on suffering. The central question becomes, can one accept a truth that leads not to triumph, but to self-sacrifice? This creates a profound tension between the human desire for self-preservation and the philosophical demand for a higher purpose. Universal parallels. The command to deny oneself and the paradox of losing one's life to find it find a powerful resonance in Nietzschean philosophy, specifically regarding the overcoming of the self. While the goals differ, the psychological mechanism is similar: the shedding of the ego's immediate desires to achieve a more profound state of being. Furthermore, the warning against the leaven of the Pharisees serves as a timeless critique of ideological corruption, echoing the warnings of modern political philosophers about how small, unseen biases can eventually permeate and distort an entire system of thought. Summary for the modern observer. For the contemporary viewer, Matthew 16 offers a rigorous tool for evaluating personal integrity. It asks us to define what we are willing to give in exchange for our soul, or, in secular terms, our core values. It suggests that the most difficult form of courage is not standing up to an enemy, but the willingness to sacrifice our own comfort for the sake of an unyielding commitment to truth.
Chapter 17. And after 6 days Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John his brother, and bringeth them up into an high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them. And his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elias talking with him. Then answered Peter, and said unto Jesus, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elias. While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud, which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. And when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face, and were sore afraid. And Jesus came and touched them, and said, Arise, and be not afraid. And when they had lifted up their eyes, they saw no man save Jesus only. And as they came down from the mountain, Jesus charged them, saying, "Tell the vision to no man, until the Son of Man be risen again from the dead." And his disciples asked him, saying, "Why then say the scribes that Elias must first come?" And Jesus answered and said unto them, "Elias truly shall first come, and restore all things. But I say unto you, that Elias is come already, and they knew him not, but have done unto him whatsoever they listed. Likewise shall also the Son of Man suffer of them." Then the disciples understood that he spake unto them of John the Baptist. And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him, and saying, "Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed. For oft times he falleth into the fire, and oft into the water. And I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him." Then Jesus answered and said, "O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me." And Jesus rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. Then came the disciples to Jesus apart, and said, "Why could not we cast him out?" And Jesus said unto them, "Because of your unbelief. For verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Howbeit, this kind goeth not out but by prayer and fasting." And while they abode in Galilee, Jesus said unto them, "The Son of Man shall be betrayed into the hands of men, and they shall kill him, and the third day he shall be raised again." And they were exceeding sorry. And when they were come to Capernaum, they that received tribute money came to Peter, and said, "Doth not your master pay tribute?" He saith, "Yes." And when he was come into the house, Jesus prevented him, saying, "What thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children, or of strangers?" Peter saith unto him, "Of strangers." Jesus saith unto him, "Then are the children free. Notwithstanding, lest we should offend them, go thou to the sea, and cast an hook, and take up the fish that first cometh up. And when thou hast opened his mouth, thou shalt find a piece of money. That take, and give unto them for me and thee."
Philosophical commentary. Matthew, chapter 17. Historical and literary context, chapter 17. Opens with the Transfiguration, a narrative peak set upon a high mountain. Structurally, this passage functions as a theophany, a visible manifestation of the divine, which is a recurring motif in ancient Mediterranean and Near Eastern literature. In terms of genre, it blends elements of the mystical vision with a subsequent descent into the mundane world. Historically, this section serves as a bridge, connecting the ancient prophetic traditions of Moses and Elijah with the immediate, lived reality of the disciples, effectively synthesizing the past with the unfolding present, the central philosophical inquiry. The core issue presented here is the nature of transcendent experience and its subsequent integration. The narrative raises a profound question regarding human perception. How does one reconcile a moment of overwhelming clarity or illumination with the messy, suffering-filled reality of the valley below? It explores the tension between the desire to remain in a state of spiritual or intellectual peak, symbolized by Peter's wish to build shelters, and the philosophical necessity of returning to a world of duty and struggle. Universal parallels. This movement from the mountain to the valley finds a striking resonance in Plato's allegory of the cave. Much like the philosopher who glimpses the sun and must descend back into the darkness to assist the prisoners, the figures in Matthew 17 are compelled to leave the radiant vision to face the lunacy and disbelief of the world. Additionally, The theme of faith as a mustard seed offers a psychological parallel to the concept of microhabits, or atomic will, suggesting that the smallest point of unwavering focus can displace massive external obstacles. Summary for the modern observer. For the contemporary viewer, Matthew 17 offers a tool for navigating the aftermath of profound insight. It suggests that the value of a mountaintop experience, whether it be a moment of creative flow, a psychological breakthrough, or a spiritual realization, is found in how it informs our actions in the ordinary world. It encourages us to maintain a sense of internal light, even when performing the most difficult or taxing duties of our daily lives.
Chapter 18. At the same time came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted, and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Woe unto the world because of offenses! For it must needs be that offenses come. But woe to that man by whom the offense cometh. Wherefore, if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off, and cast them from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life halt or maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into everlasting fire. And if thine eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life with 1 eye, rather than having 2 eyes to be cast into hellfire. Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones. For I say unto you, that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. For the Son of Man is come to save that which was lost. How think ye? If a man have 100 sheep, and one of them be gone astray, doth he not leave the 99, and goeth into the mountains, and seeketh that which is gone astray? And if so be that he find it, verily I say unto you, he rejoiceth more of that sheep than of the 99 which went not astray. Even so, it is not the will of your Father which is in heaven that one of these little ones should perish. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee 1 or 2 more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as an heathen man and a publican. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Again I say unto you, that if 2 of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Jesus saith unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, which would take account of his servants. And when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him which owed him 10,000 talents. But forasmuch as he had not to pay, his lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children, and all that he had, and payment to be made. The servant therefore fell down and worshipped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. Then the lord of that servant was moved with compassion, and loosed him, and forgave him the debt. But the same servant went out, and found one of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pence. And he laid hands on him, and took him by the throat, saying, Pay me that thou owest. And his fellow servant fell down at his feet and besought him, saying, Have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. And he would not, but went and cast him into prison, till he should pay the debt. So when his fellow servants saw what was done, they were very sorry, and came and told unto their lord all that was done. Then his lord, after that he had called him, said unto him, O thou wicked servant, I forgave thee all that debt because thou desiredst me. Shouldest not thou also have had compassion on thy fellow servant, even as I had pity on thee? And his lord was wroth, and delivered him to the tormentors, till he should pay all that was due unto him. So likewise shall my heavenly Father do also unto you, if ye from your hearts forgive not every one his brother their trespasses.
Philosophical commentary. Matthew, chapter 18. Historical and literary context. Chapter 18 is often referred to as the Discourse on the Community. Structurally, it is a meticulously organized instructional dialogue that transitions from a symbolic visual aid, a child placed in the center of the group, to a series of parables regarding debt and reconciliation. In its historical context, this chapter addresses the nascent social dynamics of a movement beginning to define its internal governance. The genre is reminiscent of Hellenistic ethical treatises, which sought to establish the virtues necessary for a harmonious and resilient community. The central philosophical inquiry. The core issue presented here is the logic of radical humility and the economics of mercy. The text challenges the traditional will to power by elevating the vulnerable, the child, as the model for greatness. This leads into a profound philosophical reflection on forgiveness as an infinite obligation rather than a finite transaction. The central question is, how can a community survive the inevitable friction of human error without collapsing into a cycle of resentment and retribution? Universal parallels. This rejection of social hierarchy and the emphasis on the small finds a striking resonance in the Taoist philosophy of Laozi, who often use the image of the infant or the lowly water to describe the greatest strength. Furthermore, the parable of the unforgiving servant serves as a brilliant psychological illustration of cognitive dissonance, the failure to apply the same standards of mercy to others that one has received for oneself. This mirrors the modern psychological concept of fundamental attribution error, where we judge our own failings based on circumstances, but others' failings based on their character. Summary for the modern observer. For the contemporary viewer, Matthew 18 provides a rigorous framework for interpersonal sustainability. It suggests that the health of any collective, be it a family, a workplace, or a society, is dependent on the capacity to cancel debts, not just financially, but emotionally. It invites us to consider whether our pursuit of status or justice is merely a mask for an ego that has forgotten its own inherent fragility.
Chapter 19. And it came to pass that when Jesus had finished these sayings, he departed from Galilee, and came into the coasts of Judea beyond Jordan, and great multitudes followed him, and he healed them there. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And he answered and said unto them, Have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh? Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder. They say unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement, and to put her away? He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning it was not so. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whoso marrieth her which is put away doth commit adultery. His disciples say unto him, If the case of the man be so with his wife, it is not good to marry. But he said unto them, All men cannot receive this saying, save they to whom it is given. For there are some eunuchs which were so born from their mother's womb, and there are some eunuchs which were made eunuchs of men. And there be eunuchs which have made themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of heaven's sake. He that is able to receive it, let him receive it. Then were there brought unto him little children, that he should put his hands on them, and pray. And the disciples rebuked them. But Jesus said, Suffer little children, and forbid them not to come unto me. For of such is the kingdom of heaven. And he laid his hands on them, and departed thence. And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do, that I may have eternal life? And he said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is God. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. He saith unto him, Which? Jesus said, Thou shalt do no murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, honor thy father and thy mother, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. The young man saith unto him, All these things have I kept from my youth up. What lack I yet? Jesus said unto him, If thou wilt be perfect, go and sell that thou hast, and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me. But when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions. Then said Jesus unto his disciples, Verily I say unto you, that a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven. And again I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God. When his disciples heard it, they were exceedingly amazed, saying, Who then can be saved? But Jesus beheld them, and said unto them, With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. Then answered Peter, and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all, and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Jesus said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me, in the regeneration when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And every one that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first.
Philosophical commentary. Matthew, chapter 19. Historical and literary context. In chapter 19, the narrative follows the journey from Galilee toward the borders of Judea. Structurally, the text is composed of dialectical disputes and a poignant encounter narrative involving a wealthy young seeker. The genre shifts between legal casuistry, a common form of ancient rabbinic debate regarding marriage and divorce, and wisdom discourse regarding the requirements of the good life. Within its historical context, these dialogues represent a radical reevaluation of the Mosaic Law, shifting the focus from mere legal permissibilities to the primordial intent behind human relationships. The central philosophical inquiry. The core issue presented here is the conflict between attachment and transcendence. This is most clearly articulated in the dialogue regarding wealth. The question of whether material security acts as a barrier to spiritual or philosophical liberation. The text explores a profound philosophical reflection on the cost of perfection. It asks if the individual is truly free, if they are unable to relinquish the very things that define their social status. This is not a moralizing condemnation of wealth, but an analytical inquiry into the weight of possession on the human soul. Universal parallels. The struggle of the rich young man finds a striking resonance in the ascetic philosophy of Diogenes the Cynic, or the Buddhist concept of upadana, attachment. Just as Diogenes discarded his last cup upon seeing a child drink from his hands, this chapter suggests that true autonomy is found in the ability to detach. Furthermore, the discussion on marriage echoes Hegelian ideas regarding the ethical life, Sittlichkeit, where individual desires are subsumed into a greater, objective unity that transcends simple contractual law. Summary for the modern observer. For the contemporary viewer, Matthew 19 serves as a meditation on the paradox of choice. It invites us to consider what great possessions, be they literal wealth, digital influence, or rigid self-images, we are afraid to leave behind in order to grow. It suggests that the most significant barriers to our evolution are often the very comforts we have worked hardest to acquire, prompting a rigorous philosophical reflection on the true nature of freedom.
Chapter 20. For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the third hour, and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. Again he went out about the 6th and 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour he went out, and found others standing idle, and saith unto them, Why stand ye here all the day idle? They say unto him, Because no man hath hired us. He saith unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive. So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his steward, Call the laborers, and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came, that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the goodman of the house, saying, These last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and heat of the day. But he answered one of them, and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst not thou agree with me for a penny? Take that thine is, and go thy way. I will give unto this last, even as unto thee. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Is thine eye evil, because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. And Jesus, going up to Jerusalem, took the 12 disciples apart in the way, and said unto them, Behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man shall be betrayed unto the chief priests and unto the scribes, and they shall condemn him to death, and shall deliver him to the Gentiles to mock, and to scourge, and to crucify him. And the third day he shall rise again. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshipping him, and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, What wilt thou? She saith unto him, Grant that these my 2 sons may sit, the one on thy right hand, and the other on the left, in thy kingdom. But Jesus answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask. Are ye able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? They say unto him, We are able. And he saith unto them, Ye shall drink indeed of my cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father. And when the 10 heard it, they were moved with indignation against the 2 brethren. But Jesus called them unto him, and said, Ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you. But whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. And whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister, and to give his life a ransom for many. And as they departed from Jericho, a great multitude followed him. And behold, 2 blind men sitting by the wayside, when they heard that Jesus passed by, cried out, saying, Have mercy on us, O Lord, thou Son of David. And the multitude rebuked them, because they should hold their peace. But they cried the more, saying, Have mercy on us, O Lord, thou Son of David. And Jesus stood still, and called them, and said, What will ye that I shall do unto you? They say unto him, Lord, that our eyes may be opened. So Jesus had compassion on them, and touched their eyes. And immediately their eyes received sight, and they followed him.
Philosophical commentary, Matthew, chapter 20. Historical and literary context. Chapter 20 opens with the parable of the workers in the vineyard, a classic example of the subversive parable genre. Historically, the setting is the road to Jerusalem, a space of heightened tension as the narrative nears its climax. Structurally, the chapter follows a chiastic pattern. It begins with an illustration of divine unfairness in the vineyard, and concludes with a physical demonstration of service, the healing of 2 blind men. This transition from metaphorical labor to literal compassion serves as a rhetorical device to prepare the audience for a radical shift in the social and moral order. The central philosophical inquiry. The core issue presented here is the clash between distributive justice and radical grace. The laborers who worked the full day appealed to a meritocratic logic, equal pay for equal work. However, the text introduces a philosophical reflection on the sovereignty of the generous. It poses a difficult question. Does the kindness shown to the last diminish the rights of the first? This challenges the human tendency to calculate worth based on temporal effort, suggesting instead an ontological equality that defies economic logic. Universal parallels. This deconstruction of merit finds a profound resonance in the philosophy of John Rawls and his veil of ignorance. Rawls suggests that a truly just society is one designed without knowing our own status within it, much like the latecomers who rely on a system they did not build. Furthermore, the theme of servant leadership, introduced toward the end of the chapter, parallels the Stoic concept of cosmopolitanism, where the individual's value is found not in their rank, but in their utility and commitment to the common good of the human polis. Summary for the modern observer. For the contemporary viewer, Matthew 20 offers a rigorous tool for reevaluating our sense of entitlement. It invites us to consider how often our perception of fairness is actually rooted in a competitive comparison with others. This text encourages a shift in focus, from monitoring the wages of our neighbors to contemplating the source of our own opportunities. It serves as a powerful instrument for reflecting on the nature of grace as a disruptive force in a world obsessed with transaction.
Chapter 21. And when they drew nigh unto Jerusalem, and were come to Bethphage, unto the Mount of Olives, then sent Jesus 2 disciples, saying unto them, Go into the village over against you, and straightway ye shall find an ass tied, and a colt with her. Loose them, and bring them unto me. And if any man say aught unto you, ye shall say, The Lord hath need of them. And straightway he will send them. All this was done, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, Tell ye the daughter of Zion, Behold, thy king cometh unto thee, meek, and sitting upon an ass, and a colt the foal of an ass. And the disciples went and did as Jesus commanded them, and brought the ass and the colt, and put on them their clothes, and they set him thereon. And a very great multitude spread their garments in the way. Others cut down branches from the trees, and strawed them in the way. And the multitudes that went before and that followed cried, saying, Hosanna to the Son of David! Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord! Hosanna in the highest! And when he was come into Jerusalem, all the city was moved, saying, Who is this? And the multitude said, This is Jesus, the prophet of Nazareth of Galilee. And Jesus went into the temple of God, and cast out all them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers, and the seats of them that sold doves, and said unto them, It is written, My house shall be called the house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves. And the blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them. And when the chief priests and scribes saw the wonderful things that he did, and the children crying in the temple, and saying, Hosanna to the Son of David, they were sore displeased, and said unto him, Hearest thou what these say? And Jesus saith unto them, Yea. Have ye never read, Out of the mouth of babes and sucklings thou hast perfected praise? And he left them, and went out of the city into Bethany, and he lodged there. Now in the morning, as he returned into the city, he hungered. And when he saw a fig tree in the way, he came to it, and found nothing thereon but leaves only, and said unto it, Let no fruit grow on thee henceforward forever. And presently the fig tree withered away. And when the disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, How soon is the fig tree withered away? Jesus answered and said unto them, Verily I say unto you, if ye have faith, and doubt not, ye shall not only do this which is done to the fig tree, but also if ye shall say unto this mountain, Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, it shall be done. And all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing, ye shall receive. And when he was come into the temple, the chief priests and the elders of the people came unto him as he was teaching, and said, By what authority doest thou these things? And who gave thee this authority? And Jesus answered and said unto them, I also will ask you one thing, which if ye tell me, I in likewise will tell you by what authority I do these things. The baptism of John, whence was it? From heaven or of men? And they reasoned with themselves, saying, If we shall say from heaven, he will say unto us, Why did ye not then believe him? But if we shall say of men, we fear the people, for all hold John as a prophet. And they answered Jesus and said, We cannot tell. And he said unto them, Neither tell I you by what authority I do these things. But what think ye? A certain man had 2 sons. And he came to the first and said, Son, go work today in my vineyard. He answered and said, I will not. But afterward he repented and went. And he came to the second and said likewise. And he answered and said, I go, sir, and went not. Whether of them twain did the will of his father? They say unto him, The first. Jesus saith unto them, Verily I say unto you, that the publicans and the harlots go into the kingdom of God before you. For John came unto you in the way of righteousness, and ye believed him not, but the publicans and the harlots believed him. And ye, when ye had seen it, repented not afterward, that ye might believe him. Hear another parable. There was a certain householder which planted a vineyard, and hedged it round about, and digged a winepress in it, and built a tower, and let it out to husbandmen, and went into a far country. And when the time of the fruit drew near, he sent his servants to the husbandmen, that they might receive the fruits of it. And the husbandman took his servants, and beat one, and killed another, and stoned another. Again he sent other servants more than the first, and they did unto them likewise. But last of all he sent unto them his son, saying, They will reverence my son. But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance. And they caught him, and cast him out of the vineyard, and slew him. When the Lord therefore of the vineyard cometh, what will he do unto those husbandmen? They say unto him, He will miserably destroy those wicked men, and will let out his vineyard unto other husbandmen, which shall render him the fruits in their seasons. Jesus saith unto them, Did ye never read in the Scriptures, The stone which the builders rejected, the same is become the head of the corner? This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Therefore say I unto you, the kingdom of God shall be taken from you, and given to a nation bringing forth the fruits thereof. And whosoever shall fall on this stone shall be broken, but on whomsoever it shall fall, it will grind him to powder. And when the chief priests and Pharisees had heard his parables, they perceived that he spake of them. But when they sought to lay hands on him, they feared the multitude, because they took him for a prophet.
Matthew chapter 21. Historical and literary context. Chapter 21 marks a definitive shift in the canonical text as the narrative moves from the periphery to the center of power, Jerusalem. Structurally, this chapter is built upon a series of symbolic actions and confrontational parables. It opens with the triumphal entry, a highly choreographed public performance that utilizes ancient prophetic imagery, followed by the cleansing of the temple. In terms of genre, this chapter functions as a prophetic critique, a style of discourse rooted in the ancient Near Eastern tradition, where the sage or prophet challenges the moral legitimacy of religious and political institutions through both word and deed. The central philosophical inquiry. The core problem explored here is the authenticity of authority and the danger of institutional decay. Through the cursing of the fig tree and the parable of the two sons, the text raises a profound philosophical reflection on the gap between appearance and reality, between the leaves of religious profession and the fruit of actual practice. The central question is one of integrity. At what point does an institution or an individual lose its purpose by substituting ritualistic form for substantive ethical action? Universal parallels. This critique of hollow systems find a powerful resonance in Hannah Arendt's reflections on the banality of evil, or her analysis of how institutions can become detached from human reality. Furthermore, the psychological tension of the two sons, one who says yes but does nothing, and one who says no but eventually acts, mirrors the existentialist emphasis on action over essence. Much like the philosophy of Jean-Paul Sartre, the text suggests that a human being is defined not by their verbal commitments or social standing, but by the sum of their concrete choices. Summary for the modern observer. For the contemporary viewer, Matthew 21 serves as a rigorous tool for institutional and personal audit. It invites us to look past the titles and rituals of our modern lives, be they professional, social, or ideological, and ask if they are actually producing the fruit they claim to represent. It offers a framework for reflecting on the nature of true radicalism, which is presented here not as chaos, but as the uncomfortable insistence on bringing an institution back to its original, human-centric purpose. In our journey today, we have navigated the profound transition within the Gospel of Matthew, chapters 16 through 21. We have moved from the quiet heights of personal recognition and transfiguration to the loud, crowded streets of Jerusalem, observing a narrative that increasingly shifts from private insight to public confrontation. As we have seen, the theological narrative regarding the rejection of institutional hypocrisy intertwines seamlessly with the existential question of authentic action versus performative identity. The text challenges us to look past the leaves of our social masks to find the fruit of our actual impact on the world. Regardless of one's religious views, these chapters offer a powerful tool for reflecting on the weight of conviction. They suggest that the highest form of integrity is found when our internal values are tested by external pressure, forcing us to decide what we are truly willing to sacrifice for our principles. Thank you for dedicating this time to deep reflection and the pursuit of meaning. In our next installment, we will bring our investigation to its conclusion, turning to the final, dramatic arc of the Gospel of Matthew, chapters 22 through 28. Stay in peace and continue to seek the essence beneath the surface. Until we meet again.